What's up guys, and welcome to another video. So recently I've been building a new PC for the lab. Now this PC doesn't have to be anything special specification wise, because all it's going to be doing is showing displays on screens and surfing the internet. And because I'm struggling to get parts like everybody else, I thought I would just look around, see what I've got lying about and cobble something together that would go really well. Now I had this CIT Havoc case which I previously reviewed, which isn't the best case to build into, but the theming really gave me the idea of Half-Life with the orange pieces at the front. So I thought, why not actually theme the whole machine around Half-Life and do a bit of modding and a bit of colouring to make it really stand out.
Wake up, Mr. Freeman. Wake up and smell the ashes.
So as the specs on this machine didn't have to be anything special, I managed to look around and grab different bits that I've used over time and put it all together and come up with a pretty good machine. For the CPU we've got an i3-6100, which is more than enough to play older title games and do all this internet surfing that this machine needs to do. For the memory we've got 8 GB of HyperX DDR4 3000 MHz. For the graphics card we're running an Nvidia GeForce 560, that's the Palit version, and I like that one to go with the theme really because of the orange fan. Now if we go through some of the mods that we did on this, as far as the case goes we didn't modify anything. The case is pretty well themed to Half-Life anyway, with the orange beading at the front, and with the extra lighting it really does shine through, so it makes it look really good. We've pretty much stuck with a stock cooler, but we've done a little bit of a modification to braid the cable and replace that Intel sticker in the middle with a bit of vinyl wrap, just so it actually goes well with the theme. As far as case-wise modification, we haven't done a lot apart from put a black border on the glass window, and that's because I didn't like seeing all of the metal shroud around here, because they had literally just plonked a piece of glass on the side of the case, so I actually smartened it up quite well. Inside, we did find that because we're using what is technically an old mining motherboard, they're quite thin, so it left quite a big black gap at the front, and I wanted to cover up some of the wiring from the poor cable management in this case, so I built a bracket. Now this bracket is very similar to the NZXT cases, and to create that, it wasn't that difficult. All I did was took some old Perspex, it's 2mm Perspex, used a heat gun and a piece of wood, and basically bent it into a shape, fitting it into the case by 3D printing some brackets, gluing them to the actual Perspex and then screwing them in from the back. Then I coloured it all up with a bit of orange vinyl wrap, which actually went really well with the rest of the system. The power supply, we did do a bit of vinyl wrap on too, so it covered up them horrible stickers that never actually line up to the holes anyway. And we produced our own braided cable for the graphics card. That's actually just an extension that goes to the power supply, but that was made using some orange braiding and some black braiding that I found under the cupboard. Build wise, it wasn't too bad. The case is a bit of a horrendous thing to actually build into. Cable management is really poor, so if I took the back off you would see one hell of a mess of cables. Tidied it up as much as I could, but it's never perfect in things like this. And I did also manage to hide a lot of the cabling which you can't tuck through the back because of the lack of features on this case, quite well at the top so you can't see it, so that's pretty good. As far as lighting goes, we've fit 3 Cool Moon fans at the front and switched the colour into orange. That's 120mm fans running off of a controller in the back, and one in the back with a Half-Life logo 3D printed fan grille, which kind of really does set the tone for the theme that it's in. We've also fit one of the EZDIY-FAB vertical mounts, which had to be fit on the inside of this case, which is why we use this mount, because if you cut the panels out the back is so weak that it would actually just collapse on its own weight. So we didn't want to do that. It makes it a little bit awkward to be able to plug the HDMI in and out, but once it's in, you don't really need to play with it and it's there. The graphics card is quite close to the glass, but it's not too much because of the actual shape of the shroud on this. It gets plenty of air and there's no overheating problems at all. Now the bigger question which most people ask is, will it actually play games? Now I thought it was quite appropriate to play the games that it was based on the theme through, so take a look at the benchmarks and see what kind of thing this can produce. So as you can see from the benchmarks, this computer with its specifications has no problem playing Half-Life 1 or 2. Now those games will pretty much run on a potato, and this PC pretty much is a bit of a potato. But it's not really going to be used for games more than anything. It's going to be used to actually put displays on the TV behind me, as well as doing some browsing, downloading drivers, things like that. And it was going to look pretty cool doing it. So if you've got any questions about this machine or any of the techniques that I've used to be able to do the mods, pop a comment below, ask questions that you want to, or join our Discord server, which is linked in our YouTube header on our page, and come and speak to the community. And I'll see you again soon.